This will probably be my shortest review as this is the shortest book I have ever read. Welcome to my review of the book Birthday Girl by Haruki Murakami. Before I start with the gist of the story, I would like to thank my friend Joseph who recommended me this book a few years back. Am I actually grateful to him for recommending me this book? Well, let's unpack that at the end of the video. Anyways, when I received my Amazon package, the book, I was both amused and surprised by the book size with a fewer than 50 pages. I immediately started reading it and finished it faster than my cup of coffee. But once I finished reading the book, I went to Amazon app to double check if the number of pages were right to find out whether my book was missing a fewer pages. But no, that was all that was. The story opens with a young woman who is working as a waitress in a restaurant. It is her 20th birthday, but instead of celebrating it with her friends or her boyfriend, well, her ex-boyfriend, as they just broke up a few days ago, she is working her night shift waiting tables. Alongside her, the other staff includes a manager, a receptionist. Both of them are supposed to be working since day one the restaurant opened, and two other waitress and a chef. Now there is a unique routine that takes place in the restaurant every night exactly at 8 p.m. The owner of the restaurant, who supposedly living in a hotel room within the same building, receives his meal every night exactly at 8 p.m. delivered by the manager. The meal is the same, that is chicken along with some sides and a half bottle of wine. Every night, when the clock strikes 8 p.m., the manager pushes the trolley into the elevator, delivers the meal to the hotel owner, the restaurant owner, and then goes back to retrieve the empty dishes. So this happens every night without fail, and no one has ever seen the the restaurant owner except the manager. Coming back to our protagonist, I call her the protagonist since her name is not given in the story. So, on her rainy birthday night, she is busy waiting tables, and there are only a few customers in the restaurant that night, and everything goes usual. But suddenly, the manager of the restaurant falls sick and has to be taken to the hospital. Now, before getting into the taxi, he calls to our protagonist and instructs her to deliver the meal exactly as planned, as it happens usually at 8 p.m. So, precisely at 8 p.m., our protagonist pushes the trolley into the elevator and heads towards the restaurant owner's room. As she arrived in front of room number 305, she felt a bit nervous and knocked on the door. From the other side, there is an old man, shorter than her, in a suit with neatly combed hair, who opened the door and somewhat looked surprised at her. Knowing the situation, she immediately starts explaining that the manager was ill and that he couldn't make it. He politely nodded, inviting her in and gesturing her to place the food on the table. But as she was about to leave, the restaurant owner asked her if she could spare a few minutes of her time. So, agreeing to his request, she decides to strike a conversation with him, and he casually asks her how her night is going, and she mentions that it is her birthday. Now, surprised by this coincidence or whatever the owner thought it might be, he offered her a glass of wine, and he also offered her something unexpected. He offered her a wish. He says, "You can wish for anything and it will be granted, but choose wisely. You have only one wish to make." I will now gently leave the question to you. What did you wish for? This story is an open-ended story with no names for characters, no detailed descriptions, and even the narrator remains a mystery. The story starts fine but ends abruptly without any conclusion, making us wonder if our book is missing some pages. But according to me, I feel that this story is meant as a reflection on what we would wish for if we are in our 20s, an age, where we are just stepping out of our teens and entering into adulthood. Is 20 even the right age to make a wish or a decision that could define us for the rest of our lives? On one hand, I really appreciate the story as this is my first read of Murakami's writing. But on the other hand, I can't stop feeling a little incomplete because of its ambiguity. But still, I would recommend this book to everyone as it is a unique read. Every reader will have their own interpretations about it because it just has this open endedness where you can have a lot of reflections based on your experience and based on your point of view.